The second Gianna said she had help, he said, okay, let's wrap this up.
Do you want to go back there and hang out when we're done?
What?
Right there?
Heck no! You can gladly. Don't ask my help.
Alright. You're the one that's recording or no? You don't know. She's the one that is recording. Oh, awesome. Is it? I don't know. That's what you said at the end of the group. Oh, I still record. Alright, so, I like Slayer, I like when we have Red earlier.
Can you not?
Again, not a whole lot going on. We had female.
Really?
So
You are in the middle of my recordings.
By the way, this is one of the people find of Anne Bonnie with a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare breast to show the men she do. Kind of a badass thing to do, right? It's not a naked woman, dude. Relax.
No.
That's exactly why I have this photo, because I get a lot of teenage boys on this tour, and I don't. Not yet, you're not.
Nope.
So don't judge her.
No, that's relative
Not
to the
judge.
judge that sent her to jail. Yeah, we get that a lot too. My name's probably going to show up next. That's because he has the same name as me. His name is Judge Nicholas Laws. So, yeah. So that's Anne Bonnie. The name of her parents, you guys didn't get those either, but that was William Cormac, Mary Brennan. None of you were expecting a secondary Mary because I told you I'm not going to play any more subliminal tricks, but it worked out in this case anyway. So Mary Reed was the one on the ship. Mary Brennan was the mom. That's a whole different scandal altogether, but that's like another 30 minutes, which I'm sure you guys don't want to hear that because, again, we don't get a whole lot relative to that as far as we just get the names. As far as Calico Jack, everybody wants to see what the original Captain Jack Sparrow looked like. So I'll start with somebody who actually cares about it. Relax, man.
I love Jack Sparrow.
He was named Calico Jack because of the jackets that he wore. His father was a tailor, so textiles were very important to his family. These jackets came from the British captains that he killed, so they were much different than you would normally see a pirate wearing. So Calico Jack, fancy jacket, which is basically how that stands for him. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. The only two devices I would actually expect the word Kingston to come through in, mags and maps. You guys are using ones that pick up more disembodied voices than I say the radio chatter. So again, we've had with your device, this is the interesting piece. The first week we were using that guy, I'm packing things up and the person handed it to me and it said pirate, not part of a sentence, not part of anything, pirate, no white noise. Beautiful EVP, definitely disembodied. That thing doesn't record. Luckily for us, that person was standing next to the person with the thermal imaging camera that does record audio. So we still had the audio from it and we all heard it. So it was a very definitive, and that was kind of a weird group that night too. Like they were like not as into it as you guys kind of are. Like they were just kind of like, all right, want to go tour, you know, kind of mentality. And I do get that. I get it. Sometimes people just show up for shits and giggles. But yeah, this was definite proof, and it was right at the end. Right? It couldn't have been better timing. So I was pretty stoked about that. But again, you guys did really well. This is about average. We don't know what I'm going to find in the morning. Tomorrow morning when you guys get your data, I'm usually done between 12 and 1. You're going to be doing Charleston things anyway and celebrating somebody's birthday. So again, kind of give me a little bit of time. In the event I have to research something a little... You do not have the word Slayer on there.
That's the second time I've had it.
Whoa.
We heard Slayer.
We heard Slayer.
Oh, you heard it. Yeah. So when you started talking about these two with their devices, that popped up.
Wow. Slayer. That's crazy.
Yeah, like you guys just came up and said we creepily heard the word Slayer.
Yeah. In a really creepy voice where it said
How scary would it be if her thinks it's Slayer?
Wow. That is an odd term to be on two different devices.
That is really weird.
I mean, we are talking about pirates.
She said she saw it twice, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I heard her say.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
That's crazy.
Very cool. Welcome to what I do for a living, everybody. But I also left a field guide on the top of your data set. You're going to have a link up there. That's if you didn't have a spirit box or a thermal imaging camera, it'll show you what you're looking for and what to listen for with examples from previous tours. So there's going to be some paranormal examples and evidence that I've caught with the tours in the past that are definitive, like you can't mistake them. Greg actually got to see an orb that I caught with his camera. Thought I will show him something that I would actually, is a pretty big deal. It's on my phone, so showing it on my phone isn't always a great thing for the whole group. But it's definitely in that link. But you're going to see your report gets pretty lengthy. So if I have to research something a little bit further, what's funny is I'm going to be looking for articles and books that actually classify Anne Bonnie as a Slayer now. So yeah, I'm gonna see if that actually pops up.
Didn't you say the one lady like killed her waitress or whatever?
The servant.
Yeah.
That was Anne, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She did it more than we knew.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, she did kill a lot of guys. But again, you guys were a lot of fun. Like, this was an interesting group because I didn't know who I was getting, especially with your party because everything was kind of getting mixed around.
Kingslayer.
And I hate to say, like, that other group, like, that they missed out tonight. So, it is 11:15. I usually determine how much data you're going to get back based on how long the regular audio is. Again, I'm sure you guys noticed I don't keep track of the time. I just go. So I'm just that guy. I don't give a shit. I'm not like, oh, we gotta move on. It's like, no, the evidence is dying. Let's move on. So 2 hours and 16 minutes. So you're definitely going to have a good 8 to 9 hours with a amount of data coming back to you, plus all of the reading I'm going to give you. So that's usually another 4 to 5 hours. You got about a 12 to 14 hour workday ahead of you. So it's what you guys paid for. You guys wanted homework, you're getting it. So again, it takes me about 2 hours to piece everything together after everything's uploaded. I actually started on my ride home, starting with splicing your videos together because that holds the software to put it all together, and that takes some time. So yeah, my first cup of coffee, I'm listening to your audio. Yeah, that's a fun thing to do first thing in the morning, right? Yeah. So yeah, you guys are gonna all see how difficult this actually is.
You just edit it in the morning and then you do the tours at night. So it's just like a cycle.
Yeah.
Sounds so simple.
I know, right? And I'm out here 7 nights a week.
12-year-old.
Unless it rains.
So let me explain guard. They just keep coming up. I've had psychics on a tour, like I mentioned in the past. They all see the same person by that bush over there wearing a blue uniform and a white shirt. The weird thing about that whole scenario is because you're in the south. Anybody guarding this location would have been wearing a gray uniform. We're in the south. So again, north were blue, south were gray. And that's also indigo, by the way. Your blue uniforms from the north, that came from Eliza's crops. The gray uniforms is just less indigo. It's also blue. So it's like a purplish color. It's just a very light amount of indigo in there. It kind of helps differentiate the north from the south.
What's a psychic?
Psychic is somebody who can talk to dead people through their mind. Yeah.
He's like, all right. Cool.
Yeah, I know. Like, no big deal, right? We can all do that shit. So,
Yep.
All right,
No
I'm going to
follow-up
start collecting devices. We're going to leave yours last just because it's still giving us a lot of really good terms. We have the word lash right now, like lash out. So, again, very interesting.
Wow.
Nice work, by the way. So, may have a job in paranormal hunting later. Beautiful. You wouldn't imagine some of the videos that I get back. So, I'm sure.
I can't.
Greg?
I can't imagine.
Like this one I'm about to take from him. Greg, hand it over, man. Let's turn it on.
Like 2 seconds ago. So that orb thing, like, it was good, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so you saw how it was kind of like that flashy light, or like that.
I did,
thing
and I've seen it in the past, and I don't think it's really anything. I think it's just the way the light is hitting it. You can't normally see it with your own eyes, but that camera can see it.
So what I did was, while you were talking that whole time, I had the camera on it, so there, I don't know if you could see another orb or something, maybe, if you actually go back. But yeah, you saw that with me. And the good thing is, I just started recording it again. Like, I had like 40 seconds on it.
So this is exactly where this wall is right here.
There's a police horse. There's two of them.
Oh, it's a police horse. I'm looking for a different type of police.
Okay. There's just two cops on police
yeah,
horses right
so
there.
look right here. It's coming in a second. That's a perfect orb.
That one's close.
Yeah, that was me showing somebody how to use the lasers with that. So, let's stick together for a group. Those are regular police officers, and still like.
Hey, so those don't bother us.
I don't think they're gonna say anything.
Not normally. Oh, they're going down the other road too.
It's the tourism officers. They're on bicycles. They're like flashlight cops, but they can hand out attention. Is there any numbers showing up? Yes, it's all about the colors in here. You don't get a whole lot of numbers, just so you know.
Is that one a tourist spot?
No, that's a petty cop.
Have you seen those, like, if they have the back?
It's a normal bicycle, and the guys have vests on.
Oh.
Like they have black vests.
You know, like when cops on, if you've been to Ocean City, you know, on the boardwalk, those cops, it's what they kind of look. So do you want me to stay over by that thing? want to go over to the cemetery. Yeah, we were here last night.
Crazy camera you have.
For very, very. We were standing. I was right here.
I was watching the funeral music.
The only annoying thing about this is there's lights right there. Right.
So, did he tell you like why that light is over there?
I'm assuming it
No.
is to have constant light here.
Yeah.
No?
It is actually pointing right at the sign to try to stop people from taking pictures and recreating the Sue Howard Hardy photo. Because if you take a picture over here with that light on there, with a normal camera, it's going to give you a glare.
Not ready.
On purpose. So with my cameras, you can obviously see right through that light.
Oh yeah, that's why I had like a big glare in the middle of it last night.
What's that?
I thought it was to deter people from doing it.
He's not ready.
It is, but
Yeah.
it's pointed right at the light because if you use your phone on there, you're going to get glare.
What's that all the way back there?
We got another word.
You see that light thing?
I got his. And I got not ready.
Is not ready. I don't know what that means.
Come.
Well, that's CULMA. Not CUA.
Dave was on the Ouija board, right?
Yeah. Can you not touch me with the little Ouija board?
You guys get a chance
I'll
to
do
see
it
the
again.
sign over here?
You want to know what I would honestly do? What I would do is just literally leave your camera like this for like 12 hours.
What's it?
Gunshots.
We're still near Philadelphia Alley, where the duel was.
Oh bueno. Gunshots is just a big word anyways.
It's really big fast. It's really fast.
You hearing anything on yours, guys?
Not much.
Didn't they get the picture from the back?
Yeah, it's like
Blocked
backing off
off,
to the
I think.
right, if I understand correctly.
I
I've
think-
never actually
yeah,
gotten a chance
it was
to
like
walk through
right
here
back
all the
there.
years that I've ever lived here.
It was like behind that bush, on the other side of that bush.
Yeah, I decided to get back into the right.
I don't think I could ever live here with all these cemeteries.
Anything else coming up on yours?
$500.
$500?
What is this snake one?
Wasn't very pleasant.
Mhm.
I want to figure out a way to get to the back where the picture got taken. Well, yeah, can we walk over to that cemetery too? Even though that one's blocked off?
Over towards that wall. Try and walk nice and slow towards the wall by the cover magazine.
I'm trying to like keep the things out, but I'm trying to
Yeah,
like.
there's people walking by. Be careful. I'll show you what goes on with this wall up here by the cemetery real quick. Where Max and Maddie are. I'll take you up there and show you what that's all about.
You ever had anybody like while you're on the tour, like they're with your group, like say you can't
Well,
take
I was
pictures of
over
them?
there. I heard 90, and then over here I heard blue or clue. Aria.
Over here, there's a couple things that go on. First is buried in here. So the number 7 shows up here quite often. We do get 7 often in a lot of places anyway.
I just heard 7.
Yeah.
Also heard how much time is left.
Wow. So we do get the number 7, that's obvious. But the other thing about over here is that right about where those folks are standing, and we're not going to go up that far because that's like really touching boundaries. Go ahead and mute that for me.
Yeah.
there's a sarcophagus right inside the fence there of William Rhett. He caught a pirate. He caught the gentleman pirate Steve Bonnet. So he was kind of like on the Charleston side of things. He's a political person. But if you've been to White Plain Garden, you've probably heard the rumors down there that you can see the pirates that were hung down there. Of course, it's a big false misnomer. I've been down there dozens of times and have absolutely no evidence of any pirate hangings. Not to say that it didn't happen there, but again, that's where those guys died and suffered. They're probably not hanging out there. Very interesting piece. But the guy who caught those pirates is buried right about where those people are standing. And you can actually touch the sarcophagus from the sidewalk.
If they leave, are we going to go up there?
No, we're going to actually go back to the wall. What'd you get?
I got down.
Probably not. I'm trying to see if it's relevant, because it was literally like 15 stories all over this corner.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very popular corner. So what we're going to do from here, because you guys haven't really given me much about Anne Bonny, so I'm going to, obviously we have lots of recordings that are going on, so I'm going to be able to spot check those. But we're going to head over to that wall by the powder magazine, and you guys we're going to wrap this up, and I'll kind of start collecting your devices and tell you how, like, what the data is going to look like for you tomorrow. This was actually really a good investigation in real time. So again, I'm normally, like, this is about average of what I normally see. Pinckney Mansion, you guys did great. Everything else was kind of starting to slow down a little bit. So we're going to kind of see, considering this about an average amount of evidence in real time, we'll see what your score looks like after I go through it. Because I do rate them all, so I know what the conditions were of the most active investigation. What is it? Was it a moon phase? Was it the weather? Was it the group that was here? Was it specific devices? Like, they keep track of all that shit for me. But it is a very in detail analysis. You're going to have lots of homework to do. Oh, yeah, so we've actually had that in the past on different spirit boxes too. Let me tell you why. Luke. Charles Pinckney that we talked about earlier, over at the Pinckney Mansion site, he's buried right across the street because he's from here. Only native Charlestonians can be buried across the street. So we've been getting relative terms to his second wife, Eliza Lucas, while we've been over here. Well, that popped up. Well, that's also, we get a lot of female genderizing terms because of Anne Bonny and Mary Read, who were trying to be men as pirates. So we do get a lot of that too. I will tell you that one of the most memorable things I've ever heard on a red spirit box, coming from the DJs, was two female DJs laughing and saying, they think we're guys. Like, you can't make that shit up. You just can't. So to me, that was like one of the best things we've had. I mean, it wasn't disembodied, but it was still very, very relevant. So I was pretty cool with that. Oh, the word dive, sacrilege. Ooh, yeah, we're getting a little dark. She heard down, down, down. I think that's time. Yeah, it's time to wrap it up. We're not helping anybody tonight.
Devil.
Yeah, you up for to be in the hero?
Healed. What?
Of course, if the word red shows up somewhere else, I'll be super stoked about that again. So good job on you, Mags. I really appreciate that one. Again, we're still somewhat close. We're going to count it. Two things I left out are the names of Anne Bonny's parents. I did that on purpose so you had something to start off with. Remember, that's the father and the mistress. The other thing I left out of this location is the name of Calico Jack's ship. So you can ask about that. Everything else is fair game. You all know what the hell you're doing by now, but I'm going to keep you for one more minute before I have you guys spread out. By the way, where we can actually spread out, you can, those of you with cameras, you can go to the front of the powder magazine if you want to. Just make sure you don't interrupt the other tours. You can also go check out the cemetery across the street if you'd like. Where that sign is, where it says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. Again, don't interrupt the other tours. So we're going to know within the first 5 minutes if we have more things going on here anyway. But there's a reason why I give you that heated warning at the top of the tour. Remember I told you headache, nausea, dizziness kind of thing? Here's why. A year ago, this past September, I actually brought my group back here, a whole group of 10, and the kid next to me goes white as a ghost. I mean, he's ready to drop like a wet noodle. I say kid, he's probably 21, 22 years old. I pick him up by his armpit to try to stop him from hitting his head on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up on the other side, and we get him over to that brick wall over there by the powder magazine. He's feeling better after a bottle of water, and he's sitting down, that kind of thing. And then told them the story that I just told you. It's important to know they have no idea who the hell Anne Bonny was or Mary Read. After I spread everybody out to go use their devices at our last stop, because yes, we're at our last stop, they pull me aside and say, Nick, we are two transgender males, meaning I had two females dressed as males on the tour, just like Anne and Mary in the story. And it made complete sense as to why one of them passed out the minute we entered the space. This is why I give that warning. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site. We had all them high EMFs tonight. If they're tuned in and they're getting messages, they can't handle those EMFs. I told you I had seizures, and at over 200, I was a little worried. Yeah, over 100, I get worried. But if I start seeing like 60, 70, 80, 90, I'm going to be very cautious with and watching you guys like hawks. Because, again, I don't know how it affects people. I can't tell you how many times I've had to call the paramedics. It's not fun. And I can't tell you if it's supernatural or not. I like to think that it is, but I also don't want to think people are getting hurt on my groups out here. So that's why I give those heated warnings. Again, we're going to spread out. We're going to get those spirit box loud and proud. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for those officers. If I see a bunch of officers flying around on their bikes,
Whistle?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll whistle and get us all out of here, and what we're going to do is we'll probably end up across the street. I am going to go hang out on that wall over there and kind of have a smoke because you guys all know what the hell you're doing. You're going to do the work now.
Is Colton a name?
Colton. No. Yeah, what are the last few terms that you've had?
I had Elsewhere, Cancer, Colton, and Clear.
Could have been the baby's name, or maybe the parent,
It's
the
a
dad.
little newer of a name for that time period. We're talking late 1800s, where Colton would have been a last name only.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, English major. I know origins of words and shit. That's what I do. Anybody else hear anything? So, Lulu, you got anything going on with yours? Oh, we have the word clue. I don't think I wrote that one down.
Wine.
Wine? I'm surprised it didn't say rum. It's less letters.
Is Bane a word?
What was it?
Bane.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a super villain.
It's like the Bane of
No,
well,
not
it's,
Batman.
Different Bane.
Oh.
What does Bane mean?
it's kind of like, how do you describe a Bane?
Bane of your existence?
Yeah, that's the first thing I came up with.
Yeah, but that's using the word in the definition, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like the antithesis of... Good.
Yeah. That's a hard one to explain.
It is.
It's not good.
Yeah. It's obviously a term, and it's definitely a term that they would have been using in the 1700s.
Right.
So I'm definitely writing it down. Oh shit, you heard Clue in Philadelphia Alley. I didn't
Do
have
you
a page for
want, at one point, me and him will walk over to the cemetery?
it. It's up to you guys. Again, if there's another tour over there, I say just don't go.
Yeah.
Where is the cemetery?
So
Straight
literally
right here.
diagonal this way. So there's two different sides. So you go across there. Yeah, you cut phone glitch. So my wife is actually involved with this as well. She went to school for photography and graphic design. She used to work for Best Buy as the cell phone manager. So that means she knows every damn camera and every damn cell phone. So if you guys send me pictures, it goes to her. All you guys have to tell me is what phone you had, and she'll tell me exactly what's going on with it. So she'll know exactly what it is. I do a lot of debunking. A lot. So I'm usually the bearer of bad news. What did we get? What did we see? What do we got going on the way here? We're pregnant? Is that what you heard? Yeah.
Apologize. That's all I got.
That's actually very cool. I'm sorry, I have to tell the Sue Howard Hardy story again. So, because they don't know it, I'm guessing. Yeah, you guys are like clueless at this point. Good. Man, you've been a great sport tonight, man. You have a good sense of humor. I like it. We're pregnant. Very interesting. Alright, anything else that popped up before I put the notebook away? Alright, yeah, silence is compliance. So here's how this goes. Every tour, most tours, will stop over at St. Philip's. It's usually the big finale. I let them have it. Unless something pops up that's relevant to it, it's the only time I ever retell the story. I make it very brief, so that way you guys kind of get the gist and we can get into our pirates. So here's how this one goes. There's a sign across the street that says, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." Right? The church put it there on purpose because they don't want people like us trying to recreate what actually happened. Here's what happened. Young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy, which, by the way, her initials, we talked about initials back in Philadelphia Alley, show up all the time. SHH. So, yeah, very creepy, stupid, and cheesy and campy, but it does happen, unfortunately. With that, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very sad story. 1987, local photographers taking pictures of all the cemeteries, putting a book together, who captures a full apparition in one of his photographs. So he sends it to Kodak. Kodak doesn't know what to do with the picture other than to authenticate it that it has not been tampered with. So that's basically all they can do. Now, for guys like me, the picture's gold, but what they probably didn't tell you is that the picture is cursed. So when I show you the picture, it is cursed to females. Females that handle a picture, even in a digital format, are said to get the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning. Pregnant females are probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the stillborn child in the story. So, I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation and 9 months later I cursed your family. So don't touch my damn tablet. So, now last night, I will tell you, I want to say we had 5 clues when we did story, very specific details. And what's cool is you'll be able to go back and see what the other tours did. So your data actually stays on my website for an entire year. If you want to go back and see what happened on your birthday, if I wasn't rained out, there's a tour there. So I just keep rolling it. So that way all that data is there. But I'm going to show you guys this picture real quick. You guys probably already saw it, so I'm going to start with Ben and Brittany over here. And that way they can actually see it, since you guys probably already did. I will zoom in on the apparition so you guys get a chance to see it. This is the full picture. The apparition is here. So this is a woman praying over her own grave with the baby basket next to her. This is probably another instance where the baby is buried with mom. Again, I can find no record of this child's birth or death with the church records. So I can't find anything.
It died like when it was like
Born.
in birth, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we saw that same picture.
Yeah. That's
So even when you zoom in closer on this on a computer, you can see the weaving of the basket. Like, it's in pretty good detail. Now this is in like the top 50, apparitions caught. Like, this is a pretty famous picture. So again, I do show it when we do get clues relative to it. I don't always tell this story because again, every ghost story tells it because it's their show and tell. It's their one, big final hurrah. You guys are playing with crazy ghost gear that you may never touch again. That's my big hurrah. You get to do it all night long. So let's get into our pirates. It's not that I'm not excited about we're pregnant, but it's definitely a term relative to the story. So kind of forced me to tell it even though they did. Good job. So here's why we're here. That little building over there with the crosses on it, that's why we're here. Those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, the gist behind those is that they are turnbuckles. In the event we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, which we have not, you can turn the turnbuckles and it straightens the building back up again. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring it up is because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. You guys have been seeing earthquake bolts all over town. It's part of our Charleston charm, but they did that because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. That's why we're here. This building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came to this area to start a new life. Follow me, there's a lot of twists on this one. This is what by the way, we had intelligent ghosts, we had residual. Philadelphia Alley's definitely intelligent. This is what I call a familiar. It's like using a toy to attract a child ghost. It's the same thing. We don't have many buildings this old, which is why we come here and why it's a hit or miss. She might be at another space that she'd love to go to as well. 1708 is where our story begins, right in the middle of this building's construction. A young lady moves here by the name of Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress turns out to be Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far?
Have a name. Camilla.
The chicken?
Camilla
Congo
Cabello.
chicken?
Camilla Cabello.
Sorry, big Jim Henson fan.
Yeah, you might have in a while.
What about the name Ralph?
We talked about Ralph Isaacs over at Philadelphia Alley. Bleed over. Nice. That's awesome. We had Isaacs actually show up here the other night, so I'm going to be writing that one down. That's definitely relevant. Again, bleed over. Big John's the Pinckney Mansion. Same principle here with Philadelphia Alley. We're going to get it all night.
I saw another word. It went like straight up like that.
But I'm going to show you how to debunk those, but let me get through this history first. Because again, it's 90% usually a bug, and when I see things in real time, it has to appear in the frame and disappear in the frame. I don't want anything coming from outside of it, and I don't want something leaving it. I want it to appear and disappear. Otherwise, it's more than likely an insect.
What about the one earlier?
It appeared in frame and disappeared in frame. That's why I said, oh shit,
Yeah,
we
he
got
saw that.
Yeah, that was a definite. I'm so glad he was recording. That's actually a really good one. So back to the story. So you guys already got the gist that it's the mistress was Anne's mother, right? So the three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How angry was the wife that they left Ireland to come here by boat? Because there were no planes back then. They land in Georgetown, which is just north of here. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to kind of keep things afloat. Now, Anne back home in Ireland, she was a badass. They say when she was like 7, 8, 9 years old, because again, pirate lore, we don't know exactly what the age was, she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. Again, hardcore chick. Yeah, I like to put that mentality of this young lady in the back of your brains as we continue her story. The building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne is going to fall in love pretty quickly because she wants to try to earn her freedom just like a man, and the only way to do that is to fall in love with a pirate. It's a man's world, and this is the way she's going to do it. Guy number one, we're going to keep tally. His name is James Bonny. I know we had the name James earlier, but we're a little too far away for this location. James Bonny is a filthy pirate, and Dad doesn't approve, so they ran away to Jamaica and they got married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. Now, this guy is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for, because every young lady wants a Captain Jack Sparrow, all right? Or am I wrong? I don't see
Oh,
any
yeah.
giggles or anything.
100%.
Wow,
Yeah,
nothing.
definitely.
All right, so we'll just say every woman wants a Johnny Depp with a pirate hat on, because nobody else said anything. So this guy is a spy for the British. This is not who she wants because she considers him a coward. Now she falls in love a few years later. This guy's name is John Rackham, aka Calico Jack. This is literally the person that they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. So is he the Captain Jack Sparrow? Absolutely, the one. He has his own ship and wants to be part of that pirate crew. Why can't you put a girl on a pirate crew? Does anybody know?
Bad luck.
They're bad luck, right. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a girl in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, again, man's world. Let's put two and two together. She's going to be a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out. She has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child. She's also dressed like a female. That makes Jack pretty pissed off. And while she was away giving birth to his baby, he captured another pirate crew and they're down below deck on the ship. She's going to go flirting with that pirate crew to make him even more mad. Remember, she's got kind of a messed up mentality. Now, the guy that she's flirting with turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have two females on the same ship trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. Obviously, two ladies are not going to be able to take on the entire British fleet because everybody else is too drunk to come up and fight. They have one bullet flintlocks, probably because they don't know how to use cannon jets. But anyway, as they're being arrested by the British because they can't take them on by themselves, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here a lot, by the way. I've even had people say they've heard dogs barking on a spirit box before they even know the story. Now the judge, he wants to see the two men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack 2 days prior and they're already dead. So they're dead and gone. The two ladies go in front and they reveal that they're female. The judge doesn't give a shit like that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies. This also might be relevant to the word pregnant thing. We plead our bellies means because they're claiming to be pregnant because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still here up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed. We don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt. I know. But Mary Reed, what happened to her? She died a year later in 1721 in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books and articles will tell you that it was fever. I'm going to call bullshit on that one. It was probably scurvious and nasty and gross and whatever else you want to come up with. 2 things I left out of here for all you spirit box and communication device people. You guys already get the gist that we're going to be... Check out the cemetery and I'll tell you why all the other ghost tours stop there. You may have stopped there last night. Did you guys talk about Sue?
We walked by.
Wait,
No,
you
we
talking
didn't
about the lady that died with her baby or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that's the first stop we had. That she, like, people hear her baby crying when she sings or whatever. The lady that...
She said the ghost story guy said that you guys would chill.
Sometimes.
No, this is about a picture. This is about a picture.
Yeah, we walked past that.
Okay.
We didn't stop.
All right,
Wait,
fair enough.
was it like a picture of somebody on top of a grave?
No.
Looked like a wing thing.
Actually,
How would
it's
you...
close. Yeah.
Like it looked like...
the silhouette?
Yeah, it's a woman praying over her own grave
Yeah,
with a baby
that's
baptized.
literally what we were doing last night.
Okay, so yeah, we'll skip that. We're going to go kind of scope out the space and check out to see if I can get some of the Potter magazine. As long as there's no officers around, we'll be good. Again, it's one of those pieces I would love to like stand up to the man, but that's a very hefty ticket and I would have to pay. So just so you guys know, it's very expensive. I'm thankful that I didn't get one when I got caught going all the way through. I got kind of a slap on the wrist. Again, I'm the weird one around town because you guys are the weirdos. So let's go around and go see what we can find up there. Lila's like, I'm proud to be part of the weirdos. Let's do this.
So you're like the weirdo, like, club leader or whatever.
Well,
Is that what you mean?
go ahead and stop the video. We don't know what these people are doing up here.
Okay. Yeah, they're just... I was thinking about just like holding it like right next to
Just hold it just
Yeah,
like
that's what I was
this.
saying.
So nice and easy. Again, nice and discreet. We never know what's going to show up in here. Again, this is definitely a staple for Charleston. And normally I would tell the story like outside the alley because it's not fair for us 10 people to try to investigate around 20 to 60. So I'm going to explain more about that as we kind of go along. We don't get a whole lot of motion in here. But go ahead and reset it because you touched it. It's always antenna first. You pull out the antenna, then the button.
Okay.
And then when you turn it off, it's button, then antenna. So that way you don't get it again. You'll get it. She's getting a millimeter for Christmas, you know that. So, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. Here's how this is going to go down. By the way, did you guys hear anything, see anything along the way here? I know it was a very short span.
Charleston.
Yeah, Charleston's I throw away. You got red? I don't know if we're close enough yet. I'm going to write it down, but I don't know if we're close yet. Where did you hear it? As we were entering or way back there?
As we were leaving the alley.
Okay. I don't know if we were close enough yet. Red is definitely relevant to our last stop. So I'm going to talk about that as we get there. But this space, by the way, is Philadelphia Alley. It is once known as Dueller's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Every tour in this alley right now is telling the same story. I am going to tell you that I'm going to tell you a different version of it because you're ghost hunting. You need different details. This is not a campfire ghost story. Here's how it goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with this money, keeping it in check. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not just after Amanda's money. I know history can be boring. I can see those yawns back there. I call them out every time.
I turn it off now.
Yeah, just be very still with it. Yeah, we're going to let them see. Let's go ahead and part the seas. Or all huddle on one side. One or the other. We got 2 more stragglers coming. Man, that fire alarm.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, and it's
That's
probably
a
going to
fire
stay
alarm?
on through the duration of our tour. Yeah. I've seen it go off like that before. I'm surprised.
That's a fire alarm?
Yeah.
I thought it
And
was
Like
crickets.
it's in a garage because it's echoing out like through many floors, and it's an open garage. That's what you guys are hearing. So where was I? Dr. Laddie moves to Charleston, right? So the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It's kind of like the Uber that sets you up, and he's got a gunman waiting for you at the end of the line. So somebody was walking by. We got another group coming by. This will be our last group. Yep.
Where are you all staying?
We're at Blanchard's Inn,
Oh, okay.
but we were sitting in Kelly's
It's haunted. No, we were supposed to be dressed up like this. We just didn't make it back.
Remember the witches we saw earlier?
Perfect. All right. So it should be clear for a little while. Why are they going all the way through? Hopefully they're going to stop.
Oh, we're stopping with the last group.
Anyway, so this guy walking by was about to see everything that's going to go down because the doctor's about to be killed, right? The coachman set him up. That guy's name was Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. R.I., even before we had Lulu's Ouija board, was coming up on different spirit boxes. It was the weirdest thing. But that's 2 different characters. You need a secondary clue, right? So we're going to be looking for R.I. in here mainly, consecutively. Now, Ralph tells the doctor, you don't want to stay here. This guy's going to try to kill you. Like, I know him. You know, it's not going to end well. But I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, and you'll be good to go. Now, 59 is another number you guys should be listening for. Again, lots of clues in this story. The doctor takes him up on the offer, and he's good to go. The longer he stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. So he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor, because he whistled all the time. It's the late 1700s. That's what guys did back then, because there was nothing else to do, apparently. So, him and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. It's kind of like going to the movies and your friend can't sit next to you. So they talk about these plays on the way home. They go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare, and they're arguing over the new actress that was here in town. The doctor thought she was great. Ralph, not so much. Then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. So it gets really ugly, and they go their separate ways. Ralph has a lot of friends here, including some at the newspaper. He puts an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd sees the ad, but rebuttals with, let's go to Dueller's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. Just needed the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happens. Ralph has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. He didn't die either. So Ralph proved that he's still pissed off. So Dr. Friends pick him up. They're carrying him to 59 street, 3 guys 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. Remember that Dr. Ladd was a doctor. Probably tried to read out the bullet himself. That's what happens. Now, it goes to the campfire part of this that they're all telling us that you can hear, I know, right? That you can hear the whistle from the doctor as you walk through the cell. Did you hear how quiet it is? I know there's other tours down here. Yeah, suddenly. But even on a busy Saturday afternoon, you're walking through this alley, it is always this quiet. A lot? It's kind of a safety thing. I have a voice recorder going right now, but I want you to know that if you're going to try this on your own and walk through the whole alley, I can't take you down there, I'm going to show you why in a minute. But if you turn on the voice recorders from your phone, listen to it later. Keep in mind, every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street hears a whistle down the alley. I do it every night. We're going to end over there by where that noise is coming from, and my garage is over there, so I have to walk past the alley. It seems like I keep that thing. I don't mess with it before. Whistle down the alley every time I walk by. Here's something I keep going. Here's the fun part. This alley didn't always go all the way through. It was cut off on this side, which means those bricks down on the other end are older. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave trade. There's still handprints from slave trade, fingerprint marks in those bricks. They had to move them every hour in order for the sun to bake them. What baked in the oven, baked by the sun in the ground. Everybody wants to treat you well.
That's the first character.
Like it's a C-O-U-E?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a C-O-U.
There's a clue. I feel like Scooby-Doo right now. Yeah. So, did you guys just play like Scooby-Doo Monopoly or something?
Yeah.
They had their back. So I was like, oh, play.
I was like, how'd you know that?
We did a mystery dinner before.
That was cool.
Everybody wants to stop and look at it. Try to get a reading on it. A millimeter or a sphere box. And treat that brick the same way you would grade. That kid is not staring at that brick in the eye. That's the last place he wants to be. But November 26th, 2020, the entire team of 10 was huddled around that brick trying to get a reading. Trying to sneak them along outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We're still relatively new at this and didn't know all my boundaries yet. The new owner of the mansions were now screaming. My 16-year-old daughter at the time thought it was fantastic to go, Dad's getting to know that. And she was all about it. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I didn't have a tour that night. I worked in retail, managed retail for 20 years. Many of them years for Walmart. Most of the adults in the room will understand why I don't work on Thanksgiving ever again. Now, the next day was November 28th. Keep that one in the back of your head. Get a phone call. Either we're going to pass away, or what we're not to do, or to reroute my group. I told my group that night, I don't believe the pirates, the story that we're about to go through. I'm a vampire person, but I'm going to tell you what I know anyway. And I'm going to win it and see what happens. And have all the crazy theory you guys are using. So, before we left, somebody here's the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be discussing the female pirate Anne Bonny. Maybe something's about to actually happen. So we get up here and I told a little bit I did know about pirates. Somebody else hears the number 300. I don't know what that means until I do the research the next day. I'm like, I don't know what that means, and I write it down. Yeah, same principle. Doing research, we were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So, keep taking you all back there. This has been how many years now that I keep doing this? It is a hit or miss location. We're either going to have a lot going on or absolutely nothing. But the way you guys have been working tonight, it might actually hopefully be a lot. Now, the other crazy thing is that with this, trying to piece together a factual investigation based off of pirate lore can be very tricky. I've read dozens of books on Anne Bonny, and I'm still reading even more. I'm even playing video games that have a different version of the tale in it, just because I need to know every last detail. And that's Assassin's Creed Black Flag, in case you're wondering. So, I'm also playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey right now. I'm also into Greek mythology, and I can't stop playing. Yeah, I know, it's horrible, isn't it? But my kids are older, I can do whatever the hell I want to right now. I play with the dogs and I play video games. That's the life. Take you guys ghost hunting. So, the next space we're going to, again, the word red is definitely relevant because, yeah, I'm going to throw that one away. The word red is, we normally would get that answer based off of Bella's device. Bella, the only way to get a motion, or like to ask Anne Bonny what her hair color is, if we get red on that thing, the only way to get red is to touch the antenna. It's the only time I've ever gotten a direct answer of, Anne, what color is your hair? And we got a direct answer. We moved 20, 30 feet away, asked again, got the same answer. And that was probably 4 or 5 months ago. Just 2 weeks ago now, right before Ian hit, we actually had it occur 10 times. in different spaces around where we're going. Now, we are going to go around the corner. We're going to check out St. Philip Cemetery real quick and kind of scope things out. Here's why. The tourism officers and the grounds right next to Powder Magazine, right on our big finale, is kind of a touching. Let's head up to that next alley. You guys know what to do with your videos.
Is that another tour?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a question real quick. Right there, it shows like, you see, it's like a big like blob, but there's no light there. I don't get it.
Let's take a look.
Here, G-Dog's a Grand Poobah. And Lodge.
You see what I mean?
Kind of. But it's not moving, and an orb just went by.
Uh-huh.
Were you recording?
Yeah, I was the whole time.
Okay,
I turned
good.
it off and turned it back on. See, there's no light there.
Oh, we're getting letters over
You
there.
see what I mean?
Tell me if I stand in front, is there still
Yeah, I can see you.
is it still there?
It's for referencing the Goonies.
Yeah. It's still there. See, there's no, look. Stick your arm through it. Put your arm there. See, I can see your arm and I can still see it. But it's like a blue. Your arm's purple. That's like a body shape kind of. See, but like there's no light there.
Put it down there. Put it down there.
Like a fire alarm.
It does look like a fire alarm.
Yeah. That's what I think.
See, there's nothing.
Did
It's
fire
light.
come out of that, or did fire come to you like you
And
were
we're
thinking?
like, see, there's no, it's right on the corner.
Right there. Oh, all coming together.
And then you see it
There
back
were
there.
many fires throughout Charleston, and this one actually
See,
did burst in a few fires.
but that's right on that corner, and there's nothing. There's no light there.
Here's the other weird thing of the things that occur down here. The Freemasons had a Masonic lodge down here.
You see what I mean?
So that's why it's called Lodge Avenue. We will get terms wrapped around the Freemasons, not that you guys would know that much deep history of us, but the word Illuminati, I'm sure you've heard that before, because there were plenty of YouTube videos about it. Normally you guys would hear the word Illuminati on the Red Spirit boxes as in cancer. The funny thing is who the hell's talking about the Illuminati on the radio? And that's where we're getting that word from. And why do we only hear it while we're here? We've had it 6 times last year alone, and 3 times so far this year. But we've gotten the term founding fathers in this location quite a bit as well. We also get the word symbols that likes to show up on yours. Disturb. We've got that crazy annoying sound going on. Disturb sexuality.
Sexuality.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be talking about Anne Bonny. She had kind of a disturbed sexuality. That's what they were considered back then. This is a quiet space, guys. We're going to have to keep that one on mute. So until we get to the next space. We don't spend a lot of time here. Again, we just kind of wait. I'm waiting for like the recordings of the presidents of us being here to hopefully capture something based on that still and tape theory. So we're going to see what happens when I kind of go through the media. I am excited about obviously the word fire because there was evidence of that ending, and I'm pretty sure there was an ending here. The next space we're going to is another alley. You guys probably went on it on your ghost tour last night, the Philadelphia alley. You guys talked about the duel, the doctor? No? Okay, fair enough. So it is kind of a staple for Charleston. Every ghost tour usually goes through there. However, I don't take you all the way through that alley because I've been kicked out. So I did get caught because it is considered residential at the end, and I was out of bounds. And I will tell you how I got kicked out because that's the fun part of the story. Yes, of course it is. And it actually tells you why we go to our last stop. It was definitely relevant. It all ties in. You're going to find out. But when we leave this alley, both video cameras will stop recording because we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood. Again, the thing with the houses, once we get into the new alley, based on how many other tours are in there, I'll tell you which direction to keep your cameras so that way we can see if we can actually capture something. So again, it's kind of a crazy story, but for this one I know it can be some kind of a dud, but you guys have to see Old Cobblestone here in Charleston. So let's go up to that next crazy alley.
During the summer, football.
I don't know that football would have been a term. I don't think I'm going to keep that one. But I do like during the summer, because that might actually explain the fire that actually was picking up on. I'm writing during the fire. During the summer. Yep.
So they were scared because they didn't have hats on, and they called me like 30 times to go in there because they kept thinking they saw stuff on the walls.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
So at one point, and this was at like 5 in the morning, so at one point I just sat in there for like 2 hours. This is very spooky.
Good place. I'm going to
For
take
ghosts.
the wall over here. I'm and we're going to stop right here.
Right.
Alright, so you're going to get this reference, but Greg is like Chuck from the Goonies. Like, he
What's
just
that
kept
mean?
talking, and now I have everybody's story. So, 'cause he
Huh?
told me everything about you guys.
Great.
Ooh.
It's funny because you're going to have that audio.
No.
Alright, so, names, what have we heard? Ed. Okay, did you get anything on yours? No? Anybody get anything on yours? Nothing at all? Any other phrases that I need to know about? Nothing? What do you got going on with yours, Gail?
We had grandma, and then she was talking, and it said here, and then they switched it. It said hollowed, and then it said put here. That's nothing we were talking about.
Okay. Did you hear anything else come up out of yours?
We asked it when it came here, we asked it to say here, and we were like, oh, yeah, this one, yeah.
Getting more
It sounded
yes.
like a country song.
Yeah, so it was like,
Very
yeah.
Alright, so, Lula, you got anything going on with your craziness over there? Nothing? No letters at all? Alright, definitely turn up the sensitivity. Remember where the little knob is on the bottom? Yeah, go ahead and turn up that sensitivity in here, because we don't normally get a whole lot of EMF. So we want to capture everything we can. Alright, perfect. Get the second one on too. There's the knob in the middle. Make sure it's turned all the way off so that red light goes out. There you go. Perfect. So that's working off a whole different like temperature differences, and we're just trying to stick strictly with EMF. So what the heck is this place? This is Lodge Alley. When we crossed that last crosswalk coming down East Bay Street, that's where the original Charlestown walls used to be. So you're standing on one of the first streets we ever had. People used to live here. I have a full list of residents of every single person that's ever lived here. Now, the common names that we normally get down here, you guys didn't give them to me, but I do think that there's an Ed on that list. It's not a lengthy list. We normally get the names Benjamin and John. So, part of the reason why I was going to say, there's a person here with that name, but there's only 3 guys, so you guys would have been guessing either Greg, Ben, or Nick. So, that's why I didn't say it. But here's the weird thing. Benjamin and John both lived here in 1801. That's 2 out of 5 people. Not too bad odds. Normally you guys give me those names every 6 to 7 weeks. This is the stone tape theory at its best. Here's what's going on. The bricks you're standing on, these things have been here since 1739. They're made out of granite. Anything that is a natural stone, like granite, is said to hang on to the memories of the things that occurred in the space of where they sit. These things have been here for a long time. Again, you guys give me those names every 6 to 7 weeks. We're on week number 1 of that loop. I wasn't necessarily expecting you guys to hear Benjamin and John, but I never know. The other weird thing about this space is that the granite bricks are not supposed to have an electrical charge at all. So you're going to literally put your device on the ground, don't worry about the motion sensor. Let me know if you get a number. Pick a brick.
Should I turn it off real quick?
I got
People coming down.
220.
Yes, and Luke is for the 2 maiden names. This wife, the second one, married Charles at the age of 22. He was 45. The only reason I say that that's a big age gap is because both of those numbers are close to me and my eldest daughter's age. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's definitely freaking creepy to me. So it's definitely better than 12 and 25. So I'm going to take the 22 and 45. The mansion, we learned that it burned down, did we not? So who had fire? Who had that one come up? So good job. We haven't actually heard that answer in quite some time. This is the only photograph of the mansion that we actually have. This is exactly where you're standing right now. This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. This happened on December 11th of 1861. Yeah, pretty big fire. I'm going to go over that in just a second. But we often, if we hit the term fire, we often have other numbers relative to the date. December 11th, 61. Very specific. 12/11/61. You guys are getting the picture. Every tour guide is going to tell you about a fire that we had because we've had dozens. So this is the fire I'm speaking of. It literally went from one side of the coast to the other. You're standing on the tiny little green dot right there on the right-hand side of this map. And again, went from the peninsula coast and went this way. So this was a giant fire, about $5 to $9 million worth of damage in 1861. That's a lot of money today because inflation changed again this morning. So yes, that's no joke, right? So the children, who had the children question? So that was you, correct? Did you have questions about the children? Is that what I had you focus on? There were 4 of them grand total. Charles we already spoke about, so he actually, wait a minute, what were the names you had again?
Hannah was the one that talked about it.
Yeah, where are the guys? Did you have Tom?
Hannah, James, Tiny was one. top.
I think there's a Tom on there. Keep scrolling down. That was towards the beginning.
Tom.
Was there a Tom on there?
At 19. Yeah.
So, what I call that is because we would have been still
Noah.
in Big John's. I don't know who Noah is, but that might be a middle name somewhere that I don't already know about. I call that bleed over. So, that is
On the box. With the red light. You scared me. Ew. What?
Alright. What happened to the mansion? Okay, if you don't want to tell me what happened, when did it happen? Okay, do you want to tell me what happened to the mansion? Should I move? Make a noise if I should move to the other corner.
Okay, make a noise. Here?
But not loud noise. Make a louder noise if you want me to move to the other corner. Okay, where's...
Oh, yep, I think we're gonna move.
Alright, I'm moving to the other corner.
I'll just stay with you because I got the camera.
Make a loud noise when I should stop.
Oh,
That wasn't loud.
okay. Shh. We're in the middle.
Alright, can you tell me...
Vermont.
Can you tell me what happened to...
It said Vermont.
No, I picked up what happened to the mansion over there.
Spotted? Can you tell me what...
Vermont spotted. Those are like the two best ones. Wait, you see?
Can you tell me what happened to the
Go
mansion?
over there. Go over to that place over there.
Alright, I'm gonna move over to the other side.
I'm staying with her just real quick. Imagine it just starts saying a whole song, like just clearly.
I'll start crying.
Oh, then we're dead.
Okay, I'm gonna move to the other side. I'm gonna just ask you again, what happened to the mansion in this vicinity that we're in? Just let me know. I'm moving to the other
That's why was
side.
the mansion taken down?
What happened? Just what happened to the mansion? I'm not trying to cry. It's simple. I want to know this.
Ask
Like,
the
this is
talking.
a sore subject.
Oh, I can't be in there. Oopsies.
Hey guys.
I'm gonna sit on the log and ask.
Kinder egg. That sounds like a little kid. Sounds like me.
happened to the mansion here?
You said you found a ghost?
What happened to the mansion prior? And then I asked the guy, and he said yes.
The lady said she heard like.
What
15,
happened to the
16
mansion
voices.
here? What happened to the mansion here?
With an extra letter, so it said E-U-L-Z-I-A. So it looked like Yulzia. So it's Eliza unscrambled with an extra U. There's no U in the name. So this is also an item where we're like trying to teach the ghost how to use it.
Getting anything?
No.
Are you recording?
Nope.
No?
Yes. This one's boring because I just gotta hold the camera. I'm on God about to just go sit in this dark corner. You guys get anything?
Stitch. I got Stitch.
Lilo. Did that help you?
My new name can be Lilo.
Oh, it's on you.
Oh no, it went blue. Yeah. Can I do it again? Yo! I think I got possessed, it did. When she put it next to me, it went crazy. Does that happen? Do it to me again. No, it's just me. It sounds like a song. Are we leaving this facility? Okay, so I... Okay. I was asking them, huh? Oh, this is G. It's not very good. It's not, I know, right? I just imagine it just popped up. It starts going to G, R, E, G. Oh, bad. Alright, we're gonna finish this, alright? Wait. Okay, she does not. She's deaf. I hate this thing, so I gotta watch it the whole time. Yours is easy. I gotta move like super slow. You literally don't even have to look at it. You can walk around for 2 hours and then look at it.
I'm so cool.
This spot has not given anything, so I'm not very happy. I want that camera. I don't like this one. He said this one's the most expensive thing he has, and he trusts me with it. Not a good thing.
What's the worst that could happen?
Oh God, give it to the autistic kid. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I keep thinking I'm gonna step on horse poop. Oh God, I should be a cameraman. It's not that bad. It's okay. I should be a cameraman.
Oh yes.
Huh?
I said, oh yes.
I should, no, seriously. I'm Gucci with it.
Hey guys, it's Bigger.
Hey guys, it's Big G. No. Mother, what does your thingy say now?
We get close to each other, this thing does something, but then you guys walk around, so. So that means go.
Yeah.
Because it was doing something.
It likes me. He trusts me with the most expensive thing he has, and I take pride in that. Lulu has such an easy one.
I know, you get easy one.
Nuh-uh. I have to walk super slow.
I have to listen to like mumbling words.
That's probably cool. I would want to listen to mumbling words.
Alright, birthday girl, let me show you how this thing works. Sorry, that one took a little bit of time. So you have got your hands better now?
Did you finally figure it out?
Yeah, there was something in front of me. So cute.
What? That made no sense.
Oh my god.
What the? It just like beeped really loud. You want to carry this? It's like, I don't know how much, but he said it's expensive. It's hard.
Okay. Eliza, if you're here, turn it blue. Turn the box with the red stuff blue.
I don't think that's how it works, is it? That's
She's not here.
Homeboy in here. What?
Oh my god. No, hell no.
Stop. No, what are you doing?
Stay there.
You're
Go
stupid.
back.
Turn
That
around.
means that it's... Okay,
That's
go
a good
back.
thing.
That's a good thing. Okay. Eliza, turn the light blue if on the box with the red lights.
You're supposed to walk around.
Okay.
I don't think you were supposed to ask questions.
That's what you told me. Okay. Eliza, turn the light blue on the box with the red stuff, with the red lights.
He's not good at this. I don't think that's how it works. A ghost can't like magically be
38.3.
38. Why would you press a button?
Because I'm supposed to, and if it stays there, that means that it's good. And not me.
You'll probably read my dump truck.
The light purple on the box with the red lights. Eliza, if you're near us, say yes.
Papa D. What the frick? I want to go ask him a question, but
Eliza, if you are with us, turn the
no.
light blue on the box.
This thing's hard. Literally, Mom, you want to know the confusing part? Watch, come here. Let me show you the confusing thing.
What?
Everybody.
Hold out 2 hands like he asked you to, so you don't
Well,
break
it's hard to see with 2 hands.
I can see.
Everybody, the people show up the same way a ghost would, so it's annoying. And it's hard to see people.
We need sense of stuff. Do Mags and I close to each other kind of work? I've had words.
Eliza, if you are
I've had.
turn the light blue on the box with the red lights.
You said hit the button.
Oh.
That's 22. Yeah, go tell him that. Tell him it went to 22.8 after you hit the button.
He said to keep him in my head. He said he'll come back.
But that was while you hit the button. He said the most.
Okay. If
Ask
there's
him how old his kids were.
spirit by me, turn the light red on the box with the red lights.
Huh?
I don't
From the
know.
red box red?
Yeah.
I got a tiny.
What?
So could it be tiny near you?
Oh, there is tiny near you.
Did you get any guy names? Because I asked that like a few minutes ago.
Oh.
I think so.
What have you heard?
We've heard old man, Puerto Rico.
I want to do like the listen one.
I think those were some.
I want to do the
You
listen
should
one.
have the like ones where you hold.
What does it say? H? Oh, Haley. Coachy dog.
With your mom.
Well, she's mean to me.
Eliza, if you are with me, turn the light blue.
HY. What is it, HY?
Turn the thing. Why is it glowing?
Eliza, if you are with me, turn the light blue.
It was at 22.8 after she hit the button a minute ago. Come here. Stupid monkey. Huh?
Not in a
No, I mean the guy that went on with many years.
Uh-oh, people.
He knew the different reds there. Yeah, you don't.
There's people.
Like women, they don't.
You said to turn them off when people come, right?
Yep.
Okay.
To kind of go through the history, and then we're going to spread out a little bit. Here's how this is going to work out. First off, for all of you communication device people, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I do that on purpose, like what we did over there at the Big Red Barn. So that way, I'm going to withhold information on purpose. So that way, you guys all have a genuine experience. I'm not going to tell you everything I know about this space, because things will occur that I didn't talk about yet. Now, what is this place? It's working on. Of course it is. Congratulations. So you made it. This place used to be something. It used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. It actually sat in the front of this space where all of those cars are parked. We're not going to go in between. But Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across to where we're standing now, and then the servant and slave quarters were in the back of the space. So I always like to kind of give you the layout of the land before we actually get started with the location. Who the heck were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. Do you see why we look for those secondary verifiers now? Again, we need to know which Chuck we're talking to. Now, with that said, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for me, or for South Carolina, but I hate politics, and I hate it more than you guys do. So, believe it or not, I do. I really, really do. But we're going to talk about Eliza. She has a much cooler story anyway. It's mostly females in this group anyway. It looks like me, Ben, and Greg are the studs here, right? So, yeah, I'm down with that. Cool. I don't have a cool beard like you, though, man. I shaved it off. But with that, Eliza's story. She married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to hear numbers like 12 and 14 like the colonial times that she came from. Think of today's standards. And the reason I bring it up is because Charles, her husband, was over double her age when they married. So kind of a creepy age gap back in the 1700s, definitely a creepy age gap now. She married Charles because her father was over in England, where she's from, and he thought he was dying. He was trying to bring all of his kids home. She didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put and got married. So she was right. Her dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the seeds of indigo. Now, if you guys have been in town for at least a few hours since yesterday, at least that I know of, you've seen the word indigo somewhere. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. So, Bella's wearing it right now. She's actually got indigo in her denim. Oh, you have denim on too. So, a bunch of you actually have good examples tonight. Sometimes I have a bunch of examples, sometimes I have none. It's weird. Now, when she got these seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here, as I'm sure you guys are realizing right now because you look a little chilly. Yeah. So, by the time she figured out what to do with them, she moved it to a cash crop plantation and got a hold of her dad and told him that the rice plantations were going downhill and she needed some contacts to sell the indigo to. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is a very, very big deal for our country because it actually helped get his country started. So her crops were a pretty big thing, not just for South Carolina, but for getting the country started. Now, let's kind of go through all the weird stuff, because that's her boring business stuff, right? I already see the yawns and the shuffling of the feet. Let's kind of get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. So I'm going to kind of go through all of the spirit boxes and give you guys, like, focus questions. Those of you that have earbuds with your spirit boxes, feel free to share that earbud with somebody else. That's part of the reason why I set you guys up, because you obviously are the duo over here. So with yours, Max.
Yes.
Yours only likes to give us 1 to 2 syllable words out of it. You're going to be listening to your own spirit box, so you're not going to need hers. So your spirit box, you're going to be asking basically what happened to the mansion. It's not here anymore. If you get an answer, obviously, when did that happen? We're looking for a very specific date. With yours, Maddie, same questions, just because they work the exact same way. I'm trying to take out the white noise. What happened to the mansion? When did that happen? Lulu, with yours is a little fishy because we haven't really learned what it can do yet, but you're going to try to get Eliza to show you her initials. Those initials are ELP. So we're going to see if we can get those consecutively, all 3 letters right next to each other with nothing in between, or if she wants to spell out her entire name. You don't have a spirit box, your spirit box. Children. I already told you there's at least one. His name was Charles. You can ask how many children they had and what their names are, but that's all. The reason why is there's a tragedy among those kids. If we poke the bear and you start asking what happened to those children, all activity will stop. Have you had any numbers show up since we've been here?
A little bit.
What have you got? What's a little bit?
Wait, am I looking for 2.5 or 25.0?
2.5 and higher.
Okay,
so anything
I got
above that.
One 3.2 and one 5.8.
Okay, while we've been in here.
Yeah.
So walking in, we are still over sidewalks, right? So that's where the electrical lines are underneath. So over here, we had 3.2, 5.8. Okay, perfect. So if you start poking the bear of what happened to one of those children the tragic way, even that little bit of EMF spikes that are showing up here already are going to go away. She'll get a bunch of zeros and nobody else will hear anything, and we'll know it's you. So no pressure at all. Your camera's nice and slow. You kind of got the point of that. With yours, I'm going to give you the gambit. Eliza's death. So ask anything you want to. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Okay.
With yours, Miss Haley. Yours is going to be quite simple as well. I'm going to give you kind of the marriage question, so because we do get numbers on there as well. But Eliza that we just talked about was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. It's either really smart or really stupid, depending on how you look at it. Yeah. But here's where it gets a little weird. The first wife, she died in January of the same year that he married the one we just talked about in May. So 5 months later, after his first wife's death, he's married to a second woman named Eliza. Both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Find out which Eliza we're dealing with. So again, it can be either one. I'm not giving you the answers to any of the questions that I provided. If you're not getting answers to the questions that I kind of had you focus on, by all means, cherry pick off of somebody else's. We never know where the answers are going to go anyway. Keep in mind, I think we actually have, 6 communication devices out here. You could be asking a question, she might get the answer. I never know where it's going to fall. It can also show up as a regular EVP on the audio recording that we don't even know about in real time, that it'll show up later. Happens all the time, guys. You guys let me know all kinds of things. So what's going to happen from here is I'm going to keep Bella behind so I can show her more about how to use that device. You guys are going to spread out in this lot, not go in between vehicles, because again, just so you know, these cars belong to employees down here. Sometimes they come down here to take a break, and sometimes they might be sleeping in their car on their break. We don't want to be freaking them out with a crazy camera and we're looking inside their vehicle. So we're not even going to go in between them. It still gives us plenty of space. We have this corner up here. Looks like back where
I
the
got
dumpster
15.7 and then it went away.
That's why they call it ghost hunting. So 15.7 is good. The average spike for this location is about 18 to 22.
Okay.
So I'm excited that you have a 15 because there's been nights I've come in here and we didn't really get much at all besides those little 3.2s and 4.8s that you told me about earlier.
Alright, so I can turn this on now?
Oh yeah, definitely unmuted. So if somebody's going to their car, you just go the opposite way. Yes, sir.
So if I was over there and I just wanted to walk straight over here, could I turn it off and then when I get over here turn it back on?
I would just let it
keep it
run.
on.
Yeah,
Okay.
just let
Keep
it
it
run. I'll let you know when we're going to turn them off. Like before we leave the space, because the next space we're going to go to is like 3 blocks up. We're going to shut both cameras off.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in videotaping people's butts. Like who cares?
Right.
Yeah, we're not doing the fart test with the thermal imaging camera. If you guys have watched a lot of those on YouTube, I had some young kid tell me about those. I didn't even know about it. He's like, "Can I do the fart test with everybody here?" I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So yeah, you don't want to know about that anyway. All right, spread out, Bella. You're going to stay behind so I can show you more. All right, have some fun. I'll be with everybody in just a minute.
Hello. It's just me. Hold on. Why is it so bright? You stop talking in my camera. I'm talking to you. Look, it's a person.
It's a green dot.
There's somebody right here. Like, right next to you.
We just asked a question who was next to me, and it said now.
I'm joking. I was
Okay, I was
looking
gonna-
at you.
Okay, I was gonna say.
See, look, I was like, oh my god, there's a person. Look, I was like, there. Oh my god, there's a person right there.
Okay, stop.
What?
Don't freak her out like that.
I'll freak you out like I did on the plane. John, we know you like to freak you.
Everybody is pretty much kind of focused on
What is it? Lulu, are you even...
very indiscreet, like a true YouTuber, if you really wanted to. But we're going to be in some spaces tonight where there's going to be parked cars. We don't film those cars for very long. If somebody's going to their vehicle, you go the opposite way. So there's 2 people using cameras tonight. At one point tonight, we will be crossing through a neighborhood, and I'll give you the cues to kind of be relaxed with your cameras there as well. We don't record houses either. So, with that, back to Big John. Big John, this place was owned by a man named Big John Kennedy. He named it after himself. Imagine that. He played for the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm giving you the history of a location, I will always slow down on specific keywords that come through spirit boxes in a kind of communication device. Because we're not just using spirit boxes. We also have the digital spirit box word list and the Ouija board tonight. Now, keywords here are going to be 47, New York, Giants, anything relative to a bar. And the name John, right? So, here's why the place is haunted. John used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender, bless you. He would tell the bartender, bless you. Did you hear that? That was perfectly on cue. So he would tell the bartender if the cadets that were coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. And one night, 2 guys came in, and they weren't old enough to drink. So he had the bartender throw them out. They left the bar pretty angry. What do we have going on there? Are you just going to wear that as a name badge all night? So, those two guys left. They came back the next night and tried to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John saw what was going on. He slams down his beer, and he goes over and just starts beating the heck out of these guys, just pounding them right into the floor. A couple of gunshots went off. John got grazed in the neck, but the bullet landed behind him in the wall. John got up after being the only one that's been shot, and he goes back to the bartender and tells him to get him another beer, get the two guys on the floor, an ambulance. Now, nobody died in that story, so what's haunting the place? It's the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. Even if this new renovation of Big John's filled it in, that means they sealed Big John's blood inside the wall. People that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. It's from the paranormal activity that occurs there. The only time I've ever had an EMF reading in there with Bella's device has been in the front of that bar. This is kind of the heated warning. We're going to be seeking out paranormal activity tonight. I don't know how it's going to affect anybody. Maybe some sneezes, maybe you're allergic to the ghost, I'm not sure. But anybody feels any of those symptoms that I just mentioned of the headache, the nausea, the dizziness, I'll need to know immediately so we can move the whole group and get that person to safety. Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's probably the scariest thing I'm going to tell you all night long, just so you guys know, because it deals with your own health. You guys took other history tours, you already know that there's been a big earthquake here in 1886, because every tour talks about it, right? So, this building is allegedly where that first death occurred from that earthquake. The white mantle you see in the middle of the building also wraps around the front of the building. A piece of it broke off, hit somebody in the back of the head, and killed them. And they say you could see his ghost in the middle of the street in the middle of the night. And that came from the previous bar owner of this place. Now, I say allegedly a lot with that because I have no proof. It's just a great segue, so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the tour, even though I just brought it up again. So, is everybody ready to go learn more about these devices? It looks like we have our police officers hanging out in my location again. Yep. Awesome. So, again, we stayed clear. No, definitely not. Yeah, we're actually going, like normally
Retreat.
It's a
Retreat.
0.83.
Whoa. We got all kinds of stuff.
And then
Isn't it 5.8?
5.8. So we're still near electrical pole. I'm not too excited about it yet.
said
Normally, whenever we're on
25.
sidewalks, I'm going to debunk a lot of those things really quickly because parking meters are nearby and our electrical lines are underneath the sidewalks. So again, anything underneath the sidewalks is going to make it go off. We have a lot of electrical lines underneath the sidewalks. All right, we're actually going to go up this way, and we're going to go over there by that white building, so we're not going to interrupt whatever sting operation the police have going on. So.
There's a sting operation. Oh, you said people from the old Citadel came here?
Yeah.
That's where we're staying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The old Citadel?
Yeah. Apparently it's like really haunted.
They don't even rent out the rooms that are really haunted.
You want me to point this camera down, right? Since we're near the cops?
Yeah, down to the ground.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so actually go ahead and stop it at this point. Just kind of give it a little bit of a break. So for yours, it's the button all the way. Greg, this one's going to go to you, buddy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So this way you get to actually see what's coming at you.
Nope. I'll take your hat. You're going to put it on my head?
No.
Oh.
No, he's going to hold it.
He's gonna carry it?
Yeah. It'll be just fine.
I think that one goes in head.
It's a little heavy. There you go. Just get used to the weight. Yeah, you want to actually use that handle.
2 hands.
Yeah, use that
Like
handle.
this?
Yep, that's the
Okay.
handle. It'll be fine.
I heard that.
2 hands.
I got 2 hands.
Use it.
Mm. I got big hands too.
That, buddy.
I love how it's trusting me.
Spirit box.
No.
Carry it.
No,
Sure.
it's fine.
We're going to be using multiple types of communication devices tonight, most of them being spirit boxes in different sorts. They all do something a little bit different than the next one. So the cool thing, if you're used to the TV shows and all of that kind of thing, this would be the white noise that the host will like display on the screen and kind of convince you of the gargled noise that he thinks he heard. Yeah, we're going to be doing that in real time. However, getting a disembodied voice of what they're claiming to find on television shows, I get about 4 or 5 of those a year, not 12 an episode.
Right.
So there's another method you can use with these, and it's to actually slow the radio sweep down. What does that actually do? That allows the radio chatter to come through. So, song lyrics, DJs, commercials, that's what we're going to be listening to on this guy. The funny thing is that if we can make out what they're actually saying, like if a DJ says, "Welcome to Charleston," the word "welcome" might actually be, something significant of that location. You hear the lyrics, "Drop it like it's hot," it might mean that there was a fire at that location. We're listening for song lyrics, DJs, and commercials on these. The cool thing is, Brittany is going to be listening to this with an earbud. She's going to be the only one to hear it in real time, but it is recording. I'm going to be spot checking every 5 minutes of this for about a minute when I get your media back to you. Now, whatever she hears, I'm also going to be writing down in real time, so you're going to have her notes plus my notes that go along with this. So, Earwax is gross. I don't want this set of earbuds back. So obviously you want to just, yeah, all yours. Souvenirs, 50-cent headphones. Good job. The only thing you need to worry about is the volume, and you can mess with it all night. It doesn't mess up the recording. So that's the wheel at the top. I'm just making sure it's turned all the way down. You're all good. So get used to that. Pop one of those in your ear. I use 2 of these. However, the second one is not going to record. Why do I use 2 of them and don't record with the second one? Because if I were to give you guys 4 hours of white noise and radio chatter, somebody's going to kill me. So again, I like to only give you about 2 hours of it. So Gianna, this one's actually going to go to you, because I seen you were kind of stoked about that, and you were the first person to actually speak up about something. So I usually look for my chatty Cathys, and they're the ones that are going to talk the most about what they're hearing. So again, radio chatter, song lyrics, DJs, commercials, if you can make it out. And I don't want to know that you heard Harry Styles. I want to know that you heard him sing as it was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to tell me that they've heard Harry Styles. I don't care that you heard Harry Styles. I want to know what Harry Styles was singing, if that makes more sense. Earwax is gross. You got it. Your volume wheel is right here. I'm turning it all the way down.
Yeah.
Pop it in your ear, and I'll be able to, answer more questions as we kind of go through it. Undo the twist ties, so you don't have to hold it to your face.
No, I had a question. Well, see, like, so if they said Harry Styles, right? Couldn't that mean like hair salon?
No.
I'm just saying.
Lyric.
Oh, I thought he said names of DJs too.
Here, just listen to whatever you hear.
Put them in.
Anything specific, okay?
Like, got it? More than if they're singing a song.
Alright, so this one. This is a spirit box we don't actually have to listen to. So what this guy does is it's going to give us a word from time to time in the center of the screen, just like an obelisk would. So if you watch the TV shows, you know what an obelisk is. It's the little one with the little antennas on it. Now, this is a phone app. What I'm going to tell you is the reason why I use this instead of the obelisk is because it has 4 times the amount of things in its dictionary for us to be able to sift through. It's going to save all of the words and phrases into a list for us once we actually get it up there, and it's going to have timestamps on everything. That actually helps me when I need to listen to your recording, watch your video, watch this video, that kind of thing, see if anything else is going on. Right, and it's also listening to the radio stations doing the exact same thing that Brittany and Gianna are doing. Only it's doing it in a digital format. So 80% of what's going to come up on this guy is going to be absolute garbage. It's not going to mean anything. So I'm going to give you an easy job, which is this one, so that way you can kind of help keep tabs on Greg. So he's like, yeah, I got it. You're welcome. So with that, I don't want to see every word that pops up. I will come to you when I want to see the word list. Right now, I've already cleared out the last night's list, so we're nice and clear and fresh. The word cannot is not going to be on our list. All you got to do is hold this guy, and I will come to you when I want to see it. Nice
Hold it
and
like your phone.
Let's see.
In the restroom. Excuse me, is she allowed to go in there and go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Run. Just go see Mommy.
Or go with Miss Tracey. Just go find her too.
The next one. So, birthday girl, is it?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to give you the brand new device. This one hasn't even been introduced to the TV shows yet, so you're going to start seeing stuff like this on the next sets of like Ghost Adventures and things like that. It's called an Envoy, but in a nutshell, it's a digital Ouija board. So, yeah, what it's going to do is it's going to move through any EMF spikes, and it's going to cause the cursor moving through all of the letters to stop and save all of the letters to the bottom row. What you and I are looking for are full words, any names, initials, anagrams. We never know what's actually going to pop up on this. This has been getting more and more helpful. I've only had it for about 3 to 4 weeks now, so hopefully tonight, with it being your birthday, I'm hoping it's going to give us a little bit more than it actually has been. So I turned the sensitivity down a little bit because we're kind of near some electrical poles, and I don't want it to give us any false positives. You and I are going to talk a lot more about that at our next stop.
Have you ever used a Ouija board?
I have.
You have? She likes the
Yeah, we
Ouija
have
board.
that together.
No, I picked the right person.
Well,
there.
hey, that's why I came for you.
All right, so I got 3 people left. Where do I want to go with here?
It's really loud. No, like I
Mags, was it?
Yep.
All right, look at me getting names right. So your spirit box is going to work completely different. It's going to sweep through both FM and AM radio stations at the same time. Now, it's also going to attempt to take out the white noise in between the stations and only give you words. That's the hope. That's normally what it's intended to do. So with this one, it's only going to give us about 10 to 12 words total throughout the entire night. It's about 75% accurate to our space. So that's kind of the mentality behind this guy. So I have it on mute right now. The only thing you need to worry about is how to hold it and where that mute button is. I leave it on mute just because we're still on a busy street corner. I'm still going through things and we're going to be near Pony soon, I will let you know when we're going to take it off of mute. I didn't even start the sweeping. It's going. Blinking lights. So your blinking lights are your top. On the right-hand side is the only button. It's the mute button. So right now it is muted. We're going to leave it on mute, and at least until we get to our second stop.
Okay. Got it.
So I'll explain to Maddie's when she gets back. Why am I forgetting her name? Bella. Of course, you just said it, and I'm like, I wonder if that's the last one I'm missing. So, your device. You're going to be in control of pretty much what everybody else is doing with this guy. So, what does this guy do? It measures electromagnetic fields. So, you guys normally would see these guys on your TV shows, right? The little blinky lights. Yeah, this is the same thing in digital format, but this is way more accurate. We use these on TV because this only goes to 25. I've seen this one spike out at over 200. Not to mention, it gives us the decimal point to go along with it. So I don't always use that particular EMF unless I have a full group of 11. So anything above 2.5, I want to know what's going on. That's the big number at the top. The bottom is ambient temperature. In the event that Ben finds something on his camera, then you and I are going to debunk it or prove it pretty quickly, because this is measuring the air around it like it's a thermometer. So the last thing that it has a motion sensor. In the event that something gets close to that antenna, meaning close to you, it's going to go off. So I'm not touching it right now. I'm touching it now. There's different tones, different colors in there. You and I are going to discuss those at our second stop right now. So for now,
tell me if it goes up 2.5.
2.5 and higher.
Okay.
Yeah. Or something like that.
And there she is.
Perfect.
Perfect timing.
So since I kind of saved this one for you, since you've already heard the explanation of a spirit box, this one, unfortunately, we cannot control the volume. So it's a matter of pulling the earbud in and out of your ear when you want to listen to it, because you can't really do anything with the volume with it. This one is also eliminating any kind of white noise. So the hope here is that you're only going to hear words out of it coming from radio stations. So again, earwax, you get the point of that. So just pop one of those in your ear, kind of get used to how it actually works. Do you feel better now that you use the restroom in there?
Well, this is Joy, so I'm going to say she's happy.
I'm going to say so too. Pretty vague stuff, but we'll take it. So again, you don't need to do anything to buttons or anything like that. It's already pre-set up. So all you got to do is pop one in your ear, undo that twist tie, and you'll be good to go. All right, everybody's all geared up, right?
Yep.
All right.
What do you have?
You'll see. I'm going to be
Okay.
You
bouncing
get the
around
cooling
a lot.
thing.
Objective. I won't yell out the words the whole time.
You'll get used to it. I get to carry the bag as long as that's fine.
That's his dad.
Yep, not to mention I gotta put all the puzzle pieces together for you so you can actually see what's actually happening. So,
I'd be so
go have
scared.
fun. Greg's in charge. Let me know what happens.
I am. Let's go.
Nice try, wasn't it? See the
I-
look on his face? So, there's a reason why we start here. Of course there is. So hopefully Tracey's not sitting in the front of the bar, because that's about where the haunting is. So should have warned her about that before she went in there.
I didn't even see.
Okay. So maybe she
We
already
don't
got.
even know.
Maybe she grabbed the Uber already, or she's hopping
Give it
around.
away. We don't know.
All right. So Big John, the place is haunted. Of course. That's why we start here. Now, I will tell you first off, those of you with cameras, people do not like to be filmed, and they definitely don't like their cars to be filmed. So if you filming at a bar, usually not a good idea. At least not.